Hello and welcome to today's League of Legends Roundup for July 15th, where we cover all the games that took place today. As you can see, it's happening later on in the day. That is just a, fact of life. Today we had the LCK, LPL, and LEC playing. Tomorrow's video will be the same regions. The LCS will be pushed off to Sunday's Roundup. If you are from the United States, sometimes when things are reported on, that when games start much later in the night, it doesn't show up in the next day's newspaper. It shows up the day after because it showed up so late. We weren't able to get it out in time for when newspaper has to go to the houses and things like that. So that's just kind of a similar vibe. Because, otherwise the roundup would come out at midnight or 11 or so, and the LPL games would be at 5. So that'd be kind of silly. So LCK and LPL for the day. By the way, if you go to the Discord, we had an individual that wanted to do a watch party today. So we have, a lot going on in the Discord if you want to go. So the LCK, Fredit Brion and Nongshim Red Force. Fredit Brion finally get their first win, coming in at 0-8. Nongshim 2-6. Lava went 10-1-9. He ends up being, no, he doesn't actually end up being star of the day. 34% of his team's damage. Delight 0-4-21 in the support role. Sylvie in his debut went 3-2-8 between the two games, playing a Poppy and a Viego, and I thought he played better than Dread had been, although they still ended up getting 2-0'd. Sandbox versus HLE. Outside of Morgan in top lane, the rest of the MVPs for the day in the LCK were Sandbox players. Sandbox 6-3, 18th in the power rankings that came out yesterday. HLE 1-8, Sandbox 2-0 him. Closer 10-0-10 in mid. That's why he's MVP. 830 damage per minute, 35% of the team's damage. Cal in the bot lane 0-2-23, 85% KP. Chioni 6-6-0 for HLE, the only guy that at least went 50-50, went, with a draw for a KDA. LPL, Team Wee and JDG. JDG 4th in the power rankings, 8-1. Team Wee 0-7. JDG do quick work, 2-0 of Team Wee. 369 went 12-3-21 in top. He is the MVP for the LPL, 34% of his team's damage. Hope went 12-3-21 and the 80 carry slot. Team Wee got blown out so badly, actually, that Shanks was their best player, going 4-7-12 in mid. So that just gives you an idea of how bad the KDAs were for Team Wee. RNG versus LNG, probably the best series of the day across all three regions. RNG 8th place, LNG 5-4, dropping out of the power rankings. Gala 17-4-9 in this series. He ended up getting a pentakill in game 1. Breathe had 30% of the team's damage in top lane. Tarzan put up a very good fight for LNG. Across the 3 games, he went 11-5-12. His Poppy was extremely impactful in games 1 and game 2. Despite losing game 1, they got out to an early lead, and then in game 2, he just put the team on his back on a Poppy, which was pretty damn incredible. That's the Tarzan that we expect to see game in and game out. LEC, Excel and Astralis. Excel 10th in the power rankings, end up falling to Astralis. Kave going 9-2-7 with 50% of the team's kills, actually over 50% because Astralis hit 17 kills. Dajor 5-1-9 in mid with 950 damage per minute. Dajor ends up being MVP in mid lane in the LEC. BDS and Mad Lions. Mad Lions 20th, end up taking care of BDS, being the only team actually in the first 4 games, looking here, that did not get upset. Unforgiven went 6-0-10 in bot lane, 37% of his team's damage. Elyoya 5-0-11 in the jungle. Aggressivo for BDS, similar to the Team Wee situation. BDS got blown out so bad that their best player's scoreline was 0-2-0 with 37% of his team's damage. Fnatic versus Misfits. Fnatic 15th in the power rankings, get beat by Misfits. Misfits, Schlatan led the way, 5-3-12 with 81% KP. He ends up being the MVP in the jungle. Neon 6-0-6 with 32% of the team's damage, leading the way in that category. Humanoid 4-3-2 for Fnatic, 42% of his team's damage. Similar to the Tarzan situation, I mean, you can only do so much work, right? And Azir, I think he had an Azir and he just put up a ton of damage but couldn't do anything about it when it came to winning and losing the game. Now, with these last two games, they just finished. The last one did. I have no idea why G2 and SK's damage stats are nowhere to be found. The desk did not utilize those stats in between the games, so I couldn't go there, and Games of Legend had not updated by the time I needed to start this video and get it out. So SK upset G2. G2 are now 4-4. They were 11th in the power rankings. Keyword were. I had said last week and yesterday that if they lose, there is going to be some droppage in the power rankings, and that's going to happen regardless of if they win tomorrow or not. You are losing to bad teams and proving that you are coin flip as hell. So that's what happens. Coin flip teams. LNG. Where is LNG now? Exactly. So Jezu 9-1-4 on a Draven. Led the way for SK. Gen X 4-0-10 in top lane on a Sylas. Flakked 3-4-3 for G2. Vitality and Rogue. Rogue end up beating Vitality. Rogue's bot lane leading the way. Comp with 10 of the 15 kills, going 10-1-3. Trimby 0-1-14. Haru 3-2-2 for Vitality as Bo starts to push for playing time possibly. We'll see what comes of that. And Arma was the best top laner. Top lane was pretty weak in the LEC this week. I guess Gen X could have gotten it as well, the more I think about it, but nevertheless, that's it for the recap of the games that took place today. There was no news. Thank God. Where would I have put it? Probably over here. I add the news last to the board because I need to have a place to put it. So that's the deal with that. So now on to the sneak peek. Okay, now for the sneak peek, you can go to the Discord and go to the predictions thread if you would like to post your predictions there. Many people do. We have all 4 regions to go over. Even the LPL on Saturdays played 3 games. So this is a 15-game day. Like I said in the first half of this video, if you just skipped right to the sneak peek, the LCS games will be gone over on Sunday's roundup. It will not be tomorrow's because then the roundup would come out at midnight. So the LPL, OMG and FPX start us off. FPX 24th in my power rankings. Both teams 4-5. OMG coming off of a 2-1 loss to top. FPX coming off of a 2-0 win against LNG. The last time they played was week 8, day 8. FPX coming out ahead 2-1. Care 14-2-22. In that, I should have put Summit in red. I don't know why I didn't. Shanji versus Summit is what I want to watch. Shanji is the guy for OMG right now. He's pulling out Shyvana left, right, and center. Really, it has been creative in the top lane. He pulled out a Shen against top, I believe. Actually, I think that's the game they won. So he is like all hands on deck right now. And Summit has made a big difference for this team thus far. So this is a big test for OMG and FPX. Which team is going to prove that, hey, we are not in the middle anymore. We're not in that bottom tier of the middle. We are a little bit better than that. We are above 10th place, pretty much. BLG and Rare Adam. BLG 3-6. Rare Adam 2-6. BLG lost to BLG beat LGD 2-1 last time they played. Rare Adam lost to JDG 2-1 last time they were out. They played in the playoffs. It's hard to believe that Rare Adam made the playoffs in spring, but they did. BLG beat them 3-1. Unfortunately, Fofo and Crisp are the only 2 players from that roster still in the game for them. I mean, still in the roster because Can is in for Weiwei and Breathe is in. No, Bin is in for Breathe, and Rise is in for Doggo. Sorry, that car distracted me. If you heard in the background. So Fofo went 19-5-27 in that series. Fofo actually has done quite well recently. I am going to watch Can versus Leon, though, as Can tries to cement himself as the starter. We'll see if he can do it or not, because I think Fofo is going to have his way with Strive. I think the bot lane of BLG, despite having a rookie, is going to have their way with iBoy and Uyanja. I do not like Rare Adam that much at all outside of the top side of the Rift. EDG versus top, the matchup of the entire day. EDG 6-3, top 8-1, both in the top 9 of my power rankings. EDG beat Ultra Prime 2-0, and like I said, OMG lost to top 2-1. Week 6, day 6 was the last time they played, top winning 2-1. Wayward went 7-4-6 in that series. I am looking forward to Knight versus Scout because they are two elite mid laners in a matchup against each other. Who would not want to see elite players duking it out? In the LCK, we have a rematch of last week's matchup between KT and Kwangdong Freaks, both 4-5. KT beat DRX the last time they were on the Rift. Kwangdong lost to Damwon 2-0. Week 4, day 3, like I said, last week was the last time they played. Kwangdong winning 2-1. Elam 12-5-16. I am watching Cuz versus Elam. I would like to see if Cuz can respond to the fact that Elam jungle gapped them in game 3 with 7 kills or something, and really made a difference in that series when they played last week. DRX versus T1. DRX 21st, T1 5th in those power rankings. DRX coming off of that 2-0 loss to KT like I just mentioned. T1 beat HLE 2-1 in the last time they played. Week 3, day 3 was when they played early on in the first round robin. T1 going 2-0. Carria 4-1-19 in the support role. I am looking at Guma versus Deft. Everything is going through Deft right now for DRX. Pioshik played well in their last series, but if he pulls out a Belveth, they might as well just FF at 15. LEC, if you notice, I did not put down who they last played because we just went over that 5 minutes ago. SK versus XL. XL 10th in the power rankings. The last time they played was week 8, day 2 in spring. XL won. Patrick went 5-0-6. We are watching the top lane matchup of Gen X versus Finn. Finn played a big role for XL in their loss, trying to initiate Gnar ultimates and things like that, and he actually did a pretty good job in the mid to late game. Gen X played a Sylas. Maybe we see Sylas versus Gnar once again for Gen X. Mad Lions versus Astralis. Mad Lions 20th. Astralis now even again, 4-4. Week 8, day 2 is the last time they played. Mad Lions winning. Unforgiven went 5-0-5 in that matchup. We are watching Unforgiven versus Kabe. For a long portion of the Astralis game today, I was like, damn, is Kabe really going to be the guy that we have to watch? And he was on an Ashe. He carried in the mid to late game and really put them over the edge. Unforgiven played a great game as well today. BDS versus Rogue. Rogue are now first in the LEC. Who would have thought? I think everybody would have. After the first couple days, probably not. But before the split, Rogue has a knack for winning the regular season. That's just a fact of life. Rogue 6-2, BDS 1-7. Week 8, day 2 is the last time they played. Comp went 9-2-3. Comp is coming off of a 10-kill game that we just went over. However, it is Syncroft versus Malrang. Malrang played a Vi, I believe, today and played very well. Syncroft is the only thing that makes BDS do anything, him and Erdate. So it's Syncroft today. It was Erdate I guess it was Erdate for today's game. It's Syncroft for tomorrow's game. Misfits versus G2. G2 11th. They will not be 11th anymore. Both teams 4-4. They played in the playoffs. G2 winning 3-0. Flacket did not die in that series, going 19-0-20. It is Vethio versus Caps. Vethio played very well in the Akali today. Caps really struggled against Certus. So we're going to see if Caps can respond or if Vethio can continue his hot streak and put G2 in the basement. The last game, Vitality versus Fnatic. Fnatic 15th. Week 5, day 2 is the last time they played. Fnatic winning. Upset went 7-1-4. Let's watch Karzi versus Upset in the bot lanes. Caitlyn Morg was what Fnatic pulled out today, which is, a classic matchup that they pulled out in a loss. So we'll see if they go meta tomorrow or not after losing a game that they should have won. LCS, 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest. 100 Thieves 5-2, FlyQuest 4-3. 100 Thieves 14th in the power rankings. They last played Immortals, winning in week 3. FlyQuest beat C9. Week 6, day 2, 100 Thieves won in spring. Someday went 5-0-6. I want to watch Someday versus Philip. Now that Kumo's out, Philip is in. And Philip has actually shown flashes, which I did not expect because his academy numbers aren't that good. But he has got a couple solo kills already. He's done, pretty well for himself in lane. And Someday's coming off of a big game on Akali, I believe. So we'll see how this goes. Dignitas versus EG. EG 12th, 5-2. Dig 2-5. Dignitas beat TSM. Evil Geniuses beat Golden Guardians. Week 7, day 6 was the last. Day 6? I don't know what I even put there. It was in week 7. Week 7, day 1 or day 2. EG would win. Inspired 5-0-1. It is River versus Inspired. I believe everything that Dig does successfully goes off of the back of River as he tries to carry that team out of the cellar. I mean, if I'm River, maybe I'm thinking, maybe I'll have a better chance at international events if I go to the PCS and go back home. Not saying he isn't qualified. He's obviously very good. But the fact is, he's on a team that stinks, and I'm sure PSG would love to have him. Against Inspired. Inspired's obviously an elite jungler. TSM versus C9. TSM has blown up their roster. 2-5. C9 3-4. TSM, like I said, lost to Dig. C9 lost to Fly. Week 7, day 1, TSM upset them. Spica went 5-1-15, and Spica just so happens to be the only player that was on the team in that game that's going to be in the game tomorrow. Hooney retired if you missed it. So they have Sol in top. Sol is a former amateur player literally 3 weeks ago. Mid lane, they have Maple. They had Kaidio. Maybe they had Takeover in that series, honestly. I don't remember, but they don't have either of them. Kaidio went back home, and Takeover is a import that is in Academy, I believe. I don't think they let him go. 80 carry, Tactical's out, Mia's out, and now they have Instinct and Chime. If C9 loses this game, it's bad. That's bad for C9. So we're watching Spica versus Blabber. Spica's got a 1v9 and really hard carry if they want to win. Immortals versus CLG. Immortals lost to 100 Thieves. CLG lost to TL. Week 8, day 1 was the last time they played. CLG winning. Luger went 5-1-9. Let's watch Kenvi versus Contracts. I mean, I want to get more information on Kenvi as he goes along here. See if he is, you know, is he an LCS jungler or not? A lot of people said he was a really, really good Academy jungler, and he should have been getting this call for a while. But Immortals are still 1-6. So, I mean, your team around you stinks, but you've got to be able to put up good numbers regardless and do things in the early game, mid game, before the game gets out of hand. So that's the thing. Now, TL versus Golden Guardians ends our day. TL 5-2, 13th in the power rankings. Golden Guardians 3-4. TL coming off the win against CLG. GG lost to EG. Week 8, day 1 was the last time they played. TL winning. Santorin went 5-0-9. Similar to the situation with River. Except that Pride Stalker is not as good as River, but Pride Stalker is trying his hardest to carry this team. Licorice, obviously, the GG is a better version of Dig, but in the same token, I do not think that they're anywhere close to being like really good. So Santorin versus Pride Stalker. Can Santorin get ahead of Pride Stalker and render GG useless? Who knows? GG sometimes plays really, really slow, boring games. Maybe they're hoping that Bwipo gets bored and he ints. That is entirely a thing, and I mean, that might be the best strategy GG's got. So predict on the Discord if you want to. The link will be in the comment in the description. Thank you for sticking through this whole video. Like I said, the LCS games will not be in the roundup tomorrow. They will be on Sundays. So stay tuned for all of that tomorrow, and thank you for watching.